Ilia Topuria is officially my pound for pound number one after what he just did to Charles Oliveira. Everything he said leading up to this fight that was going to happen, just as he did with Max Holloway, just as he did with Alexander Volkanovski, happened. Everything. From celebrating the night before the fight, aura gambling, absolutely all of his aura possible. Using the law of attraction to its absolute... I'm going to have to read The Secret again. All right, people. I'm going to have to start getting on the law of attraction again. Because this guy has just proved to me that it's real. All right, people. I'm really not joking here. Insane. Insanity. And I really believed Charles Oliveira was not going to beat Ilia Topuria. Too hittable, too chinny. And it's about time, without trying to be disrespectful to Charles, but it was long overdue, someone caught him. It was long overdue. It was going to happen eventually. And somebody that could catch him and really finish him. And Ilia Topuria did it effortlessly. The jab down the middle. Oliveira coming in with a tight guard. Jab down the middle. Oliveira didn't slip it. He didn't parry it. Come round with the left hook. Easy combination. Bish, bosh, bang. And that was all she wrote. Unbelievable performance from Ilia Topuria. But before we go back to the main event, I really want to talk to you all about the best fight I think I've ever seen. This was a truly special card tonight. And I really want to give a shout out to all the fighters on this card tonight. Whether it's Joshua Van, Alejandro Pantoja, Ilia Topuria. Who else is there? There's so many. Even Brandon Royval. So many fighters on this card that really made this card special tonight. Because the UFC has been shit in 2025. The whole John Jones thing has been draining. It's been boring. You know, the MMA fan base has never been more toxic this year. And without trying to sound too cringe or too soppy, I just think a great card, an all-time card, which is what tonight was. It wasn't a long card. It doesn't need to be. I don't mind short cards as long as the fights deliver and as long as they tell you something about where the divisions are, about where the sport's moving. And man, Ilia Topuria is... He could reach Conor McGregor levels of stardom, I think. He's doing everything Conor McGregor did. He's rallying Spain behind him. Conor McGregor rallied Ireland behind him. He's calling every single one of his fights at the highest level. Conor McGregor did it to an extent and then petered off. But now Ilia Topuria has the best free fight winning streak in combat sports history. Okay? Not in MMA history, not in boxing history, in combat sports history. He has the best free fight winning streak ever. He knocked out Volkanovski, he knocked out Max Holloway, and he's knocked out Charles Oliveira. And I saw it coming, but just because I saw it coming, it doesn't make it any less special. Just because Ilia was the favourite, it doesn't make it any less special. Oliveira didn't look bad tonight. He looked his usual self. Calf kicks, Ilia's open for them. Takedowns, hey, try use your physical size. Ilia got a really good reversal on Charles in the first round and even got a crucifix on him at one point. Charles showed good jiu-jitsu, attacking the legs of Ilia, but Ilia showed really composed grappling. We've seen that element of his game now. He's elite. This Ilia would beat Islam Makhachev 110%. This Ilia, I would argue, and people are going to call me a reactionary, I do not care. I do not care. If you think I'm reactionary, whatever. That is the best fighter, are you ready, that I've ever seen. That's the best fighter that I have ever seen, bar none. And Khabib Nurmagomedov held that spot until tonight. He was a fighter that I looked at and I thought, God, nobody can beat this guy. Nobody can beat this guy. He says what he's going to do. He's going to go in there. He's going to smash you. He's going to dominate you. He's going to submit you. Or he's going to smash you into oblivion. And there's nothing you can do about it. Well, with Ilia Topuria, with his boxing, it's too good for everybody in the UFC. They don't box on his level. I have always said, do not compare his boxing to Dustin Poirier's because it's way better. His shot selection, way better. I'm looking at it now. Jab, right hand. Was it a right hand left hook? Or was it just a right hook? I'm trying to look at it now. Right hook, left hook. He was out from the right. The left just further sent him into the fourth dimension. It was just, oh my God. Lads, I honestly, I have very rarely, ever since Khabib, looked at a fighter and thought that I would ever see another fighter that comes into a sport undefeated and potentially might never lose, especially while they're at the peak. He's going to need to severely decline for somebody to beat him. Islam Makhachev in there with him tonight. Islam is even a better grappler than Oliveira, and he is bigger than Ilia, naturally. But I don't think Islam could cope with that boxing. I don't think Islam could cope with that confidence, that trajectory, that amount of aura and confidence that he carries into the octagon. I don't think he could cope with it. Not even Islam Makhachev. And that's why I say Ilia, for me, now is my personal pound-for-pound number one. You can call it too soon, you can call it whatever you want, and if Islam beats JDM, maybe we can have a conversation about it. But man, now Ilia has just done that to Charles, I can't help but feel like we really have missed out on a huge, huge fight here. I really can't help but feel like that. If you were Islam Makhachev, you were probably praying Oliveira gave Ilia a really tough fight, because now I think people more so than ever, including me, are looking at that Islam fight like, look, we've seen Ilia at lightweight, he's the man. And I think he would have been the man to get Islam. I think he would have been the man to get Islam. Not saying Islam escaped Ilia, or no, I am saying Islam escaped Ilia, but not intentionally. I'm not saying he ran from him, right? Islam Makhachev, for me, still pound for pound number two, still arguably could be pound for pound number one. But man, we've got to get that question answered at some point. JDM might answer it for us. He might send Islam straight back down, but we've got to get that answer. We've got to get that answer, because what an opportunity that is missed. And it's making me realise it from this performance. Just genuinely unstoppable, that was. Absolutely unstoppable. Combination punching, staying composed under Oliveira's pressure. Look, this was a guy that brought it straight to Ilia. Tried to use his physicality in the clinch, the knees. Tried to use his wrestling and his trips. Ilia reversed it. He beat Oliveira everywhere, as short as the fight was. And then, in the pocket, Charles Oliveira never stood a chance. He's been dropped by Dustin Poirier. He's been dropped by Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje. This was coming one day. And as sad as it is, and as much as we didn't want to see it, his style dictates that this was always going to happen eventually. And man, Ilia Topuria is just a special, special, special fighter. A special, special talent. One of the best fighters. I would put him up there with Khabib. Maybe I don't want to say he's better than how I used to view Khabib, because Khabib was also a special talent. But in terms of the best fighters I've ever seen skill-wise, right, because he's still got a long way to go before he ends up as a true all-time great, although he's a legend right now, 2-division champion. He's already getting up there. That, along with Khabib, is the best fighter I've ever seen. Ever seen. And he would have beat Islam Makhachev, in my opinion, tonight. He would have beat anybody in there tonight. Just unmatched confidence, unmatched skill. It's a new skill and a new way of boxing that I don't think anybody's learnt to deal with. Coupled with the fact he has elite level grappling. How do you beat him? How? With that confidence, with that speed, with that power, how? I don't know. I don't know if anybody can right now. I don't know if anybody can. Mauricio Ruffy, one day in the future, I do see that kind of talent in him, that kind of confidence in him too. But that's going to be a while, and Ilia might be gone by the time he gets right up there. Paddy Pimblett did a face-off with Ilia in the octagon too. I love Paddy Pimblett. I'm English. I'm from the Northwest. I'll be backing Paddy Pimblett all the way. He's a lot bigger than Ilia. He has got elite-level jiu-jitsu, but brother, he's going to put that Scousers don't get knocked out question to the test. Man, I don't think he can faze Paddy with his confidence. I don't, because Paddy's he's just on it. He's confident, and he's always believed in himself. He's always been doubted. He's always been the underdog, and he's always pulled through. So I am rooting for Paddy, and I'll back Paddy going in there against Ilia. But that's a hard fight for him, man. I don't know if Paddy does that. I don't know if Paddy can beat him. I don't. And I love Paddy Pimblett, man. Big fan of him, but fuck me. Even as the most biased English fan, I've got to admit, man, I just see Paddy going out on his back too. I've got to be honest with you. But let me know what you thought of Ilia's performance. Just before I go, this was meant to be a full card recap, but I am tired. I've been up all night. You can check my full reactions to all the fights on TikTok anyway. But I want to give a shout out to the best fight I've ever seen. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. I cannot leave here without talking about this fight too. And if you've made it this far, let me know what you thought about the card. Let me know what you thought about Ilia Topuria's performance. But let me talk to you about a guy who's 23 years old. This is his 8th or 9th fight, I forget, since 2023. Active, young, entertaining style. Goes in there with Brandon Royval, right? Seizes the opportunity. He fought 2-3 weeks ago. Makes a massive step up in competition on short notice against Brandon Royval. Royval comes in with the volume, with the conditioning. Van couldn't quite match it because that kind of volume's insane. But for me, Van slightly outdid Royval in all 3 rounds. In my opinion, I did have it 30-27. 29-28 is fine. The second round was, you could really give it to Royval, but I always favour clean counter-punching over volume. Any day of the week. And Royval did a lot of good work in the second, but I just fancied Van's cleaner, harder shots landed. And I think it finally showed in the third round where Royval's iron chin it was about to give. And this nonsense about if it was a 5-rounder, Royval definitely would have won, man. Royval might have got slept if it went to a 4th. It really might have. Royval's activities, volume, made it for a great fight. Stylistically, I knew it was going to be a great fight. But honest to God, that might be the best fight I've ever seen. And again, I know it's reactionary. And I might have a different view on this when I wake up later on. But that fight really made me feel how people probably felt watching Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald too. And look, Gaethje and Holloway, that is my favourite finish ever. But the fight itself was nowhere near that. Nowhere near that kind of war. It was just, for a 3-round fight, pure carnage. Costa Romero's one of my favourite fights too, but Poirier Chandler, but I honestly think that might be my favourite ever. That last second knockdown to win Joshua Van the fight, because Royval might have been taking the third too. The second and the third were razor tight, but the third round, no doubt about it, won Joshua Van that fight in the last second. Royval was out of it. His chin finally gave away. It just felt like, Royval's fought Pantoja twice and lost to him twice. I'm kind of glad Van won, in the sense that it's not that I don't like Royval, he's done nothing wrong, but I'm glad Van won for the continuity, pardon me, I struggle with that word, of the division. And it was just an electric fight, trading back and forth. Really good counter-punching from Van, but he's got a tough test when it comes to Alexandre Pantoja. I could do with talking about that fight, but I might have to leave it. I could not leave here without talking about Joshua Van and Brandon Royval, because that for me is going to not only be fight of the year, it's going to be hard for me to top that, but it's going to be fight for me maybe ever. Unbelievable fight. Joshua Van, 23, representing Myanmar, bought his mum a house after his last fight, chasing the bag, chasing legacy, fighting Pantoja. If he does it later on this year, it'll be his 9th fight since 2023, maybe his 10th. Just a fantastic, phenomenal card overall, and oh God, we deserved it. The fans deserved it, the fighters deserved it. Over with the John Jones saga, over with all that shite now. Back on track. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the card. Adios. Goodbye.